to Parliament. In international, 19 people missing after terrorist attack in Nairobi. And in sports, national team can beat Uganda if players put in best performance. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The government's Controller and Auditor General, CAG Professor Musa Assad, has vowed to this year to say that his answers during a press conference were not meant to disrespect the parliament. Professor Assad clarified that his answers were just the jargon which is used in his trade. At the same time, the House Speaker Job Dugai said that he believes that CAG will come before the House's Committee for Ethics in order to set the record straight about that controversial issue. In addition, Speaker Job Dugai called upon all Tanzanians to work together to build the country and to respect one another.
Let me remind everyone that the officials now before you are parliamentary officials and MPs. Now, I would like to say that the core function of MPs is to provide oversight of the government. Let me point out too that sometimes MPs have to engage in the auditing of government statistics about this or that subject. However, instead of auditing themselves, the MPs usually ask from the Controller and Auditor General, who then carries out the auditing himself before presenting his finished work to them. Therefore, I would like to reassure everyone that whatever ethical mistakes or misunderstandings might have cropped up, all will be revealed on January 21st this year.
Maneno kama udhaifu, yani weaknesses, au mapungufu, yani deficiencies.
Deficiency and weakness are words commonly used in reports on performance of various institutions. If you've been through reports I've prepared, then you must have seen such terms of expression. These words can be misinterpreted, but there is no way we can tell others on the correct interpretation.
After the Dumila Bridge has been opened and vehicles have started moving through it, the local government in Morogoro region has directed residents living in the area to plant water hyacinths on the river banks so as to prevent floods caused by ongoing rains in Dodoma and Manyara regions, as well as the Turian Hill in Morogoro region, with some farmers, including a vegetable garden, swept away by water.
Local communities must be involved because there are those who farm near the river causing sand to fill the river, making the river shallow, hence the floods. People must be reminded not to farm near the river. The road is passable, but work is ongoing. We have the duty of securing the area so as to stop the bridge getting damaged when there is too much water.
Jeshi la polisi katika mkoa wa Morogoro hatujapokea taarifa zozote.
There has been no cases of death reported, no loss of property.
Na watu kupoteza mali kufuatia hizi mvua zinazoendelea kunyesha.
When there is too much water, crops get damaged, and this doesn't just affect farmers but businesses too.
Over 800 livestock keepers in various villages in Lushoro district have asked the government to speed up the land demarcation exercise under the Good Land Use Plan so as to avoid conflict between them and farmers after Mkomazi National Reserve drove away large groups of cattle belonging to pastoralists that had set up camps in the reserve for grazing land.
This is why conflicts never end. This is why conflicts never end. You find a place set aside for livestock keepers, yet farmers want to take the land for farming.
Japokuwa wafugaji tunajitahidi sana kutaka kuingia TANAPA.
Livestock keepers try our hardest not to enter into reserves and getting fined a lot of money, which we don't have. If the cows stray, we get fined too. We ask for this matter to be addressed.
Lazima ulipe fine. Wafugaji.
Livestock keepers graze on our crops. When we ask them not to, they tell us that we've nowhere to farm. We ask the government and the regional commissioner to set aside land for farming and grazing.
The case facing senior Chadema leaders has been mentioned once again at the Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in Dar es Salaam. However, the Chadema chairman, Freeman Mbowe, who is the first suspect in the case, failed to show up in court because he was sick. The state prosecutor, Patrick Mwita, told the court with the resident chief magistrate, Wilbert Mashauri, presiding that he had received information from the prison that Freeman Mbowe was sick, and that was why the chairman leader had failed to show up in court to listen to the case being mentioned. At the same time, Prosecutor Mwita requested the court to adjourn the case because of an appeal that had been filed at the Court of Appeals by the state in order to oppose the High Court's decision to listen to a case which had been opened by two of the suspects, Freeman Mbowe and the MP for Tarime Urban, Esther Matiko. The two suspects filed the appeal after their bail was revoked by the Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court in November last year for violating the terms and conditions of that bail. It was also explained that since their bail was revoked, the two suspects have had to remain in custody while they continue to wait for the appeal to be listened to. The case number 112 of 2018, Mbowe and other senior Chadema leaders such as the party's Secretary General Dr. Vincent Mashinji, John Mnyika, Salum Mwalimu, Halima Mdee, Esther Bulai, John Heche, Esther Matiko and Pastor Peter Msigwa are facing 13 charges. These are 13 charges including incitement, gathering for an illegal assembly, and rejected a directive from the police force to disperse around February last year. The case has been adjourned to 31st of January this year, which is when it will be up for another mention. Now, moving on, the inspectors of pesticides from TPRI and agriculture officers of Malinyi district have carried out an inspection operation during which they successfully captured a container of pesticides which had harmful toxins. The inspectors impounded the container of pesticides as it was being ferried inside a truck where the harmful substances had been mixed with food products such as sugar, flour and biscuits. Meanwhile, other pesticides were found to be in cans of water, and following tests, the water was found to have high level of toxins that is harmful to human health and which are no longer effective at killing invasive pests which targets.
We've started the operation to deal with fake pesticides, which is without proper authorization, and some is actually being sold beside the road and in auctions. What we'll do today is certify it as fit for use.
Lakini zaidi ya hilo, kuna kesi tunazipata.
We get cases reported on sellers who sell the pesticides specified by the manufacturer. We had a very hard time last season because distributors went straight to the farmers and told them what type was in stock, which is not how it is supposed to be done.
Residents of Gona and Kilototoni villages in Moshi district, Kilimanjaro region, have asked President Magufuli to intervene on the payment of 5.2 billion compensation from the Ministry of Infrastructure, Transport and Communication after taking their land for construction of a dry port at the villages.
Baada ya tathmini.
After the evaluation in 2014, the lawyer dealing in land advised that after 6 months, those affected were to be compensated. But since then, nothing has been done.
Swala la fidia la vijiji vya Wona na Kilototoni.
With regards to compensation, the government is aware And there is a plan to build a one-stop inspection center so as to reduce bureaucracy. The date has been verified by the government, and anytime soon we expect to receive money for the compensation.
The health of residents of Dodoma consuming meat in a danger following emergence of reckless slaughter of livestock, with meat traders stating that this is contributed by the high costs charged in modern abattoirs in the region.
We now slaughter at least 70 cows per day, compared to 150 cows that we did previously. On Saturdays, the number has decreased from 250 to 70 cows. People avoid public slaughterhouses owned by the municipal council because it is very expensive. Slaughtering in unauthorized slaughterhouses should be discouraged because it causes the government loss of revenue, but consumers are also in danger of eating meat that is not certified to be fit for human consumption.
A habit that has emerged in Songea, where residents uproot trees being planted in water sources and take them to replant in their residences, which undermines the efforts made to conserve the environment and protection of water sources in Songea Municipal Ruvuma region.
We've been planting trees, but local residents, since they don't have seedlings, they've been stealing our trees and replanting them in their own yards. So to protect our own trees, we've decided to give some out, 5 trees per resident, so they can plant in their areas. The work we've done today might be perceived to be small, but it has a big impact because the 5,200 trees planted today will protect water catchment areas which supply water to Songea. Will protect the forest and the trees planted today.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly. Welcome back, and in international news tonight. 24 hours after President Uhuru Kenyatta announced the completion of the operation to seek out the Al-Shabaab militants who attacked the Dasadi-2 building at Riverside in Nairobi, the Red Cross in Kenya is now saying that 19 people are missing since the attack at Riverside, and the number of those dead has reached 21 from 14.
Kenya 16 walipoteza maisha katika shambulizi hili.
16 Kenyans died from the attack, 1 British and 1 American, and 5 more Africans, whom their nationality has not yet been identified. I'm here because of my child who was working at the hotel. He was the manager of CCTV control room. What we heard is that he tried to rescue some of his people at the hotel. When they reached outside, he realized that one person was missing. He had to go back inside to fetch her. On the way there, he was shot from the back.
The Parliament of Burundi has approved Gitega city, which is in the middle of the country, to become the political capital, and Bujumbura will become the commercial capital of Burundi. According to the Minister of Home Affairs, who submitted the bill, the move to Gitega will be done in 3 years.
This project will help citizens by simplifying administrative services. The research shows that it is not okay for these services to be centralized. Thirdly, this will ease the congestion in Bujumbura, where everyone wants to live. From Bujumbura to Mwenga, which is about 200 kilometers away, when you look at how big the country is, there was no need to have one political and economic city.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows next after the break. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Tanzania Communication Regulatory Authority (TCRA) has launched a supervisory system for phone communications (TTMS) for economic and social development, a system that will enable access to statistics on phone calls made in and out of the country.
Umewezesha kufanya mambo kwa kuchaja machache yafuatayo.
We've managed to achieve the following things. First, the availability of statistical data, local and foreign traffic. Secondly, this system has enabled us to identify fraudulent traffic. Thirdly, to secure detail of online transactions.
Jambo la pili, mfumo huu umewezesha kugundua mawasiliano ya simu za ulaghai.
The Association of Small-Scale Traders in the country have said there is a need for the use of the traders' IDs to be increased, including traders using them to be able to get loans and social security.
This is for small-scale traders to enter into formal sector so that our government can collect revenue from them and also support the traders to be involved in several funds and services like Social Security Fund, National Health Insurance Fund, so they can get access to loans, training, amongst others.
Kitchen farmers in Michiga Village, Michiga Ward, Nanyumbu District Council, Mtwara Region say that government to speed up the verification process for farms as the continued delay in completion of the exercise and payment will affect their lives economically.
I have failed just because I'm waiting to be inspected, and I wonder if everybody here has been inspected, which left me in a limbo. I know when I will get my money. I have even lost hope of farming anymore. My call is for verification exercise to be fast. The ones that need to be verified are farmers. Let us all be patient. This exercise will be completed and everybody will get what they deserve.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows up next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip it, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rocking to the bang, man. Boogie say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on Capital Television.
sports news. The Mwadui head coach Bizimungu Ali says there is a possibility for the national team to win their match against Uganda and qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations if the players decide to put their best performance since the country is blessed with talented players.
Let's be one team. The national team, when playing at home, plays very well because of the support from the fans.
The Beach Soccer National League will be introduced this year, and teams from different regions have been reminded to register themselves soon to get the chance of participating in the league.
From Kenya and 4 from Tanzania to participate in the championship starting from the 22nd to the 27th. We hope that the teams from Kenya should arrive in Tanzania by the 19th, meaning Gold Maya, FC Leopards, Kariobangi Sharks and Bandari FC. The competition will be held at the National Stadium.
Leopards, Kariobangi Sharks pamoja na Bandari FC.
Cristiano Ronaldo's header was enough for Juventus to beat AC Milan and claim a record 8th Super Capitaliana in a game played in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Here's more on the story.
The Portugal forward noted in Miralem Pjanic's lofted pass in the second half to settle a meeting between Italian football's two most successful clubs. It was Ronaldo's 16th goal of the season for the Serie A leaders. Patrick Cutrone hit the crossbar for Milan, who had Ivorian midfielder Frank Kessie sent off. Gonzalo Higuain reportedly is subject of interest from Chelsea, who was introduced as a substitute by Milan boss Gennaro Gattuso in Italy's version of the Community Shield. But the 31-year-old Argentinian forward, who is currently on loan from Juventus, was unable to deliver an equalizing goal for the Rossoneri, who were beaten 4-0 by Juve in the Coppa Italia final in May.
Serena Williams swatted aside Canada's Eugenie Bouchard in straight sets to continue her quest for the record, curling a 24th Grand Slam title at the Australian Open. Here's more on the story.
The American 16th seed made a rapid start on her way to a 6-2, 6-2 victory over the 2014 Wimbledon finalist. Not everything went the 37-year-old's way, but she demonstrated why she is considered the tournament favorite. Ukraine's Diana Yastremska, ranked 57th, awaits her in the third round. 37-year-old Williams started her pursuit for a record-extending 8th Australian Open title and equaling Margaret Court's all-time Grand Slam tally with a 49-minute stroll against fellow mother Tatiana Maria on Monday.
And Spencer Dinwiddie scored 25 of his 33 points in the fourth quarter and overtime, and the Brooklyn Nets spoiled James Harden's 58-point night with a 145-142 victory over the Houston Rockets. Here are more details.
Had his second straight season high after scoring 57 in a victory over Memphis on Monday night, but was only 5 of 19 from three-point range. The Rockets shot an NBA record 73s, making just 23. Harden has scored at least 30 points in 18 straight games and has reached 40 in 9 of the last 12. He was 16 of 34 overall from the field, made 21 of 23 free throws, and had 10 rebounds and 6 assists. Dinwiddie forced overtime, making 3 three-pointers in the last 30 seconds of regulation. In the extra period, he hit the go-ahead basket with 28 seconds left.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Khadija Zimwe. Thank you for watching and good night.